My recent experience at a town hall meeting is what inspired this video. In an open letter, copies of which I handed out before the meeting, I told Congresswoman Susan Wild that she and her colleagues were violating their oath to uphold the Constitution, and the legislation she is sponsoring will make millions of Americans criminals when we've done nothing wrong. Decisions that are going to undermine the basic foundation of our country need to be based on fact, not hyperbole.
I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving. And the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets, need to be licensed and do not need to be on the streets.
But that would ban most pistols. That would ban most...
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes... Blah, blah, blah.
These are just a couple of the people that are making decisions that have an impact on our lives and the future of our government. I put the links to those two clips in the description below if you're looking for some more illogical reasoning. They have more at their sites. I appreciate being able to snatch those clips from them. So we heard from Washington. Now let's see what the real world says. These charts are from the National Vital Statistics reports of June 24th, 2019. According to them, assault with firearms or discharge of firearms undetermined intent are very low on the list of the 113 selected causes of death. They're lower than falls. This chart, which indicates the death percentage of total deaths, the top 10 leading causes. Assault by homicide averages about 15th, not even in the top 10. The Constitution is written to protect the citizens from the government, not the other way around. The legislation that she is sponsoring is prohibited explicitly in the Bill of Rights, which is a betrayal of her oath to uphold the Constitution. These rights aren't abstract to me. As a combat Marine, I personally saw hundreds of men blown apart in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive. We were told that we were defending the Constitution that you and your colleagues are currently shredding with lies. Alexander Hamilton warned, "The truth unquestionably is that the only path to a subversion of the Republican system of the country is by flattering the prejudices of the people and exciting their jealousies and apprehensions to throw affairs into confusion and bring on civil commotion." Looks to me like that's happening right now. Let me go back to the beginning. Let me start at the beginning. This whole adventure started with a letter that I wrote to the Congresswoman back in May regarding her assault on the First Amendment. I wrote that letter urging her to vote against H.R. 336, which was called the Strengthening America's Security in the Middle East Act of 2019. The title of the resolution is very deceptive. It should say allowing Israel the right to control free speech and choice in the United States. The purpose of this resolution is to prohibit boycotting illegal Israeli goods. And it's also to strengthen our commitment to provide funds for Israel's defense. We're currently sending them $3.8 billion a year. When I received the Congresswoman's reply, it was clear that we were on opposite ends of this issue. And I felt disturbed that a U.S. representative would feel such loyalty to another country to the extent that she would violate the Constitution by sponsoring laws that were in direct violation of the Bill of Rights. So I responded with a letter to the editor. This was posted on Lehigh Valley Live and in the Express Times on May 15th, 2019. Why is Congress limiting our constitutional rights in an aid package to Israel? I contacted Congresswoman Susan Wild twice to urge her to oppose H.R. 336, Strengthening America's Security in the Middle East Act of 2019. H.R. 336, in part, is an attempt to stifle our right to free expression to boycott goods from another country if we disagree with that government's illegal policies. Specifically, if you choose to boycott goods from illegal Israeli settlements, you would be denied the right to bid on government contracts. It could become illegal for public entities to refuse to purchase products from these illegal settlements. In her first response to me, Wild simply said her support for Israel is unwavering. On my second attempt to get her position on H.R. 336, I received an ambiguous, non-committal reply. As a Vietnam combat veteran, I saw men ripped apart defending our constitutional rights. 58,220 Americans died in that war. There's no reason any United States representative should be undermining our Constitution to support Israel's ambitions. The Secretary of State said recently that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. This Orwellian word dance is a lie. Contact your representatives and ask them if they support sending more than $3 billion a year to Israel. If you're in the 7th District, please contact Wild to ask her how supporting censorship and a potential war with Iran for Israel is in the best interest of our citizens. Contact Senators Bob Casey and Pat Toomey, who voted for S1, the companion legislation in the Senate. But about a month or two after that, I saw him start circling the wagons around the Second Amendment. That's when I wrote the letter to Congresswoman Wild, where she replied that she supported the assault weapons ban. And that's how I wound up at the meeting at Muhlenberg. The stunning part of that meeting was how close-minded people are to ideas that should be natural. And that's what brought Hamilton's quote to reality. And the fact that we were having that meeting at Muhlenberg, who was one of the authors of the Bill of Rights, made it more relevant. Yet the crowd certainly didn't respect the words that Muhlenberg wrote. And that's the story about how a town hall meeting inspired a video. Now, what I'm hoping is that this video inspires some other people to come to a town hall meeting, especially veterans. You know, we have an obligation to the guys that didn't make it back to uphold the ideals that they died for. So if you'd want to get more involved, either writing a letter, coming to a meeting, I'm going to leave my email address in the comments below. I'd also appreciate hearing comments, pro or con, so we continue this discussion in an intelligent way and make people aware of the dangers to the rights that we take for granted.